Hello and welcome back to the Scoop with Coop. I'm of course Coop, and my oh my, did the San Antonio Spurs flip the script of this series, and instead of going down 3-1, they tie it up 2-2, 103, 282. Yes, you heard me right. In a basketball game on planet Earth in the year 2026, the Oklahoma City Thunder only scored 82 points in a game. This being their second lowest total the entire year. Now, how did that happen, right? How is it that a team that had started off the game 15-0, then lose by 15, how did that team hold the reigning defending champions to 82 points? Well, I will tell you how. Number one, Victor Wembanyama. The last two games, he hasn't been as aggressive as you'd like. He hasn't been getting into the right spot. He hasn't been getting into the low post, being more physical, being able to manipulate the defense to warp around him instead of warping and manipulating as a result of the defense. Him adjusting to the defense instead of the defense adjusting to him. And that was the key in this game because Victor Wembanyama, 33 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 blocks. He was immediately aggressive. Immediately. He shot not one, not two, but 7 3-pointers and 22 shots from the field, as well as 9 free throws. Victor Wembanyama was aggressive right out of the gate. He was going at his matchup. He was going right at Hartenstein. He didn't care anymore. I think he knew the stakes, and this entire Spurs team knew the stakes going into this game. And Wembanyama was physical. He was getting into the paint early, getting into the right spots, bumping, doing everything right. Everything that we had wanted to see him do following that Game 1 masterclass, he did it tonight. Right? His supporting cast, Julian Champagnie, the three-point shot still isn't falling. 1 for 7 and 0 of 5 from 3. But his defense, phenomenal. De'Aaron Fox, getting out in space, running, being faster than everyone. 12 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. He was phenomenal. Devin Vassell, fantastic defender. 13.6 rebounds, 3 assists. He was phenomenal. Stephon Castle, he was running in transition like crazy, getting out in space, darting to the rim, going at anyone who was in front of him. It didn't matter who. And that resulted in 13 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. And the biggest change that I noticed in this game was coaching from the Spurs. The way that this Spurs team coached makes me a little bit mad that they didn't do it from the get-go because of how good this team looked. But better late than never, as usually they will take Victor Wembanyama out once the clock reaches the 5 to 6 minute mark of the first quarter. They didn't do that. They took him out at the 2-minute mark. And what that allowed was after they had subbed off, for example, De'Aaron Fox and Devin Vassell and Julian Champagnie, once they had subbed off those more not as important starters, they brought in their bench guys, right? So their starters still got the benefit of being fresh. Victor Wembanyama didn't have to still do as much. Simply his presence being there allowed the defense to be good and allow the rest of his teammates to carry the load offensively. And so that allowed Victor Wembanyama to be able to play 31 minutes in this game and, again, get 33 points. Victor Wembanyama didn't need to be this entire team. It wasn't the story of the bench not helping. The bench legitimately contributed tonight, where you had 7 points from Dylan Harper, 6 from Cornette, 6 from Keldon Johnson, 5 from Harrison Barnes, 3 from Jordan McLaughlin, and big Kelly Olynyk with 3. Now, in this, right, the way that the Spurs were aggressive out of the gate allowed for, number one, the Thunder always have to think about Wembanyama, which frees up space for everyone, because once Victor Wembanyama has set the tone, that allows for the guards to come in and slash. And once the guards are slashing, that leaves the Thunder susceptible for Victor Wembanyama lobs. As in Game 3, they only had one lob. In the first quarter, they had two, as well as Wembanyama attempting another one to himself. So the Spurs were able to maintain the aggressiveness that they want while not necessarily having to sacrifice the non-Victor Wembanyama minutes. Because when Victor Wembanyama was on the court, he was the team best, plus 29, and the Spurs won by 21. That is crazy. If you were to tell me after games 2 and 3 that Victor Wembanyama only plays 31 minutes, I'd think, okay, so they lost by 20. No. Absolutely not. Victor Wembanyama was phenomenal, but the rest of his team stepped up, right? And I want to, in particular, I want to give a huge shout out to Devin Vassell and Stephon Castle. Now, they did play a lot of their minutes with Victor Wembanyama, but the way that those two are able to play off of Wembanyama is phenomenal. I also think Harrison Barnes played pretty well in this game. Dylan Harper played pretty well in this game. Luke Cornett actually was pretty good in this game. 13 minutes, 6 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 blocks. Legitimately a good game from the bench. And the Thunder just simply didn't have that, right? And so if you're able to get those big minutes where for stretches you don't need Victor Wembanyama out there, but you're able to keep that aggressiveness with him off, who's to say this can't be a 6-game series and the Spurs come back roaring? Now, I don't think that'll necessarily happen. At least I don't think it'll be as dominant fashion as this, because this Thunder team did not play well. One bit. They were getting out-physicaled, right? Isaiah Hartenstein, he was the only man when the Thunder got out to their initial starting lineup. He was the only one with points, as he got the team's first 8 points, and the Spurs were already at 20 at that point. Hartenstein, if you're asking him to be your number 2 scorer, you are cooked, right? In this game, once again, you ask Chet Holmgren to step up. He doesn't do that, right? SGA did not play well. I don't want to hear any whatever. He didn't play well. The Thunder adjusted and realized we simply can't double SGA, because if that's the case, they're just going to put their shooters out there, and they have a good stretch big man in Jalen Williams. So we're going to have to guard him one-on-one, and whatever we're going to do is, if Wemby's in the post, right, rotate over. Flip the defense to where, if the ball's on the left side, have Wemby, looking at it from the basket point, have Wemby match over to that side and rotate to where it's just in a shell, to where you have the 3 defenders over. If they stretch it out, have Wembanyama play down low, to where that way if he gets beat and tries to go inside, cool. If, say for example, Shea gets out and the defender's here and he gets out over here, Wembanyama close and get out to the corner. Like, they were playing one-on-one basketball with SGA, and he wasn't as effective. Only 6 for 15 from the field and didn't make a 3-pointer. Right? The Spurs defense was phenomenal. They were handsy. They were aggressive. They were mean. They were physical. Any of those adjectives are perfect ways to describe how this Spurs team played basketball. They were phenomenal tonight. And I think at some level that has to come down to the Thunder just missing 3-point shots. They only shot 18% from 3 and 33% from the field. But also, they forced turnovers. They had 17 turnovers forced in this game compared to 12. This is the first time they had a win in the turnover column, right? Because remember, game 1, they won that game. Stephon Castle had 1 less turnover than the entire Spurs team did tonight. They were phenomenal, right? Every single Spurs starter had a block or a steal, right? Kelly Olynyk, despite coming in during garbage time, 3 steals. Carter Bryant, I know he got chewed out during this game, and in 7 minutes he picked up 4 fouls. I think he really had some work to do, but I think he played a interesting game. He's going to get a lot of flack for it, but in this game, right, Champagnie, he set the tone with that chase down block. even though it was more so forcing, I believe it was Casey Wallace to hit the rim with his own layup, right? Being a team that isn't giving up and is relentless and is, to put it in the words of Reggie Miller, being a team of Captain Chaos. When talking about Alex Caruso, when he did not have a good night, he shot 0 for 1, got in foul trouble. This entire Thunder team got into foul trouble, right? Only one starter on their team did not have more than 2 fouls. And that one player was Casey Wallace. And he was a negative 10 in his minutes. And I think Casey Wallace, sure, he played good, shot 2 for 8. Now, this entire Thunder team didn't shoot well, right? The only Thunder who shot well was Isaiah Joe and Kenrich Williams. And if you're asking Isaiah Joe and Kenrich Williams to beat you, I mean, maybe. But I would be willing to gamble that. I'd be willing to bet on it 100%. And if what makes this Thunder team good is their depth and how they are consistently able to just churn out different rotations that are always good. If that isn't working for you, you are cooked. Because the Spurs starters are better. I'd say the Spurs first, for their rotation, the first 7 players that they'll play are probably better than the Thunder. Like, legitimately, I think they are better. But what makes the Thunder so much better is their depth and that they consistently have players who can knock down their shots. The Spurs, they didn't even get that tonight. They shot 39% from the field and 27% from 3. And I also do want to say, man, this game takes me back to my childhood, right? Where it's early 2010s ball to mid 2010s, depending on, I mean, more so pre-Steph Curry, where you would get the low-scoring games. You'd get the grinded out. You had the grit and grind Grizzlies, right? Perfect encapsulation of what I'm talking about here. Where you have these teams that are a lot more defense reliant, where every possession matters. Going from okay shot, good shot, great shot, perfect shot, make. Like, that is how the Spurs were playing. They were playing as a collective, they were playing as a unit, and they won as a team. And they looked very good doing so. So I think that a takeaway here for the Spurs team is you have to feel absolutely elated with how this went, right? Defensively, you just held one of the best offenses to 82 points, right? Defense, you played great. You neutralized the ways in which Wembanyama was able to get slowed down. You didn't let that happen, right? Your 2 guards, Fox and Castle, they were fantastic. Stephon Castle fixed his turnover problem. Like, there are a ton of positive takeaways to take away from this game. And for the Thunder, I mean, I'm not, like, worried. Because this is a team that got blown out by 30 last year in the finals. Like, this happens to the Thunder. This is why usually they don't sweep teams. They get blown out a game. And so I'm not, I don't know how to feel about this Thunder team, where it's like you blew an opportunity to go up 3-1, which is something the Spurs have never been able to come back from. Literally, they're 0 for 10 in those, like, times it's happened. But also, you are a good basketball team. So I don't know how to feel about that, right? Because this team is experienced. They've been here before. They know how to win. They know how to do all the little things right. And if they don't do it in one game, that doesn't mean magically it's gone. I think it's more so they had an off night. And, I mean, I feel like this Thunder team, they could very well still win this series. I mean, it's a tied series, right? And I'm glad we're going to get an extra installment of this absolute pinnacle show of basketball. I mean, I've loved this series. Like, this has been one of the best series that I've seen. It has been an absolute show. It's been a thriller. It's been a masterclass. I have loved this series, and I'm so glad we get another game. I'm so glad that we're going to get to see more Victor Wembanyama, more Chet Holmgren, more Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, more Stephon Castle, more Devin Vassell, more Jalen Williams. I was going to say Lou Dort, but he had a scary-looking injury. More Alex Caruso. Like, I'm glad we get to see more of this because I've loved watching this basketball, and I'm going to post a video probably tomorrow talking about what are the adjustments made in this game, what more adjustments can be made for the future, and how that might end up looking. But make sure to stay tuned for that video. And if you're interested in watching that, as well as all of the other content on this channel coming up in the past and also coming up in the future, make sure to go ahead and like and subscribe, as it is absolutely crucial to the channel, and it'd be pretty cool of you to do so. Make sure to turn on the notification bell too if you want to get real-time updates about anything relating to the Scoop with Coop. And since this is the Scoop with Coop, this is the Scoop with Coop. And until next time, so long, everybody. And if you're interested in watching that, as well as all of the other content on this channel coming up in the past and also coming up in the future, make sure to go ahead and like and subscribe, as it is absolutely crucial to the channel, and it'd be pretty cool of you to do so. Make sure to turn on the notification bell too if you want to get real-time updates about anything relating to the Scoop with Coop. And since this is the Scoop with Coop, this is the Scoop with Coop. And until next time, so long, everybody.